Good morning, October 13th, 2016. This is CISG114, section 1 into week number 8. Now that is the beginning of the third learning contract, but we still very much in second learning contract, and actually this is the week when students have to submit the artifacts of this learning contract. So let's get started. Welcome back. Actually, after 2 consecutive weeks of Monday as the holiday, we do not have 2 classes. Today it's day number 16, right? And we lost day number 15 on Monday, and we also lost day number 13 last Monday. So definitely we're going to have to make up a class towards the end of the semester. Now allow me to remind you that you are going to submit the set of artifacts for the second learning contract this weekend. Alright? So do you still remember what you need to do for your second learning contract? Now give me some time to remind you of the following. And actually, if you read the message for this past week, week number 7, you should have a good understanding of what you need to submit. Let me go to week number 7, and that is the teacher's message for this week. Okay, in this teacher's message, you can actually go to see if you have been affiliated with a team already. And as of this moment, if you go to take a good look at the Y screen, teaming information, you will discover that, oh, I still have some students not paired up yet. If you see the keyword called incomplete in the teaming status, you know that you definitely need to pair up. If you do not pair up by the end of today's class, you will be in big trouble because you do not have a partner, a team partner, to help you complete your work. Okay, may I remind you, can I call your name? It's Rex here today. Rex, are you here today? No, it's Neo here today. Neo, you're one of the students who is still not paired in a team yet. Now you have a pair identity, okay? The job your pair has to do is to look for another pair to form a team in order to complete assignment that is due this weekend. And actually it was due last weekend. But as of last week, we have a consensus among all the students in this class. It has been extended to this weekend. Okay? So you need to make sure before the end of today's class, you will have a team identity and you have 3 days time left, okay, to catch up. Alright? And all the other students so far, as you can see in the table, they are pair except for Rajan. Are you here, Rajan, today? So you become, are you in the same pair as Neil? Okay, that you and Neil need to work harder to look for another pair. And let me see if you have another pair to do it. And I think so. But unfortunately, you can see that we still have one pair. This is called Y-phone. Y-phone. But this is the pair which I put them together because looks like he's not here for a long time. Are you here, Y-phone? You're here. Okay. So I think you are the only pair left with this pair. Okay. And if we look at the number of pairs, you're the last pair formed. So I think you need to pair up with pair 01. And beside Y-phone, I guess there's still one more student here. Okay? It's Y-phone's pair, I think so. Now let's take a look at the pairing information in week number 5. Okay, student teaming information here. And you can see that at the end of that, Y-phone, it's actually here. Remaining student, actually you're the same student, okay? So you are the only student left. You must join their pair to form a team, okay, out of the many students here. And I'm sorry, but this is what I can see at this point. And actually I published this for a long time. And then, let's see if we got some more detail for you, going back to the pairing informations in week number 3. Okay, right here. Let's double check. Yes. Actually, you're the only student left. I think you're the same persons here, okay? So you definitely have to join pair number 1 to form a team of 3 persons. So you might want to sit together with them now. Just have a discussion. Yes, make sure you have a discussion. Otherwise, you will not be able to get the job done. It's lucky that I can catch you now because you still have 3 to 4 days left to work with the 2 students here to get the job done. So with that, we could have 7 pairs in this class. Not 7 pairs, 7 teams, okay? If you look at here, we have 6 teams forms as of this morning, okay? And the only team left is the team with Rex, okay? The team with Neo, and the team with White Folk, okay? And it's Schofield, right? Yeah. So you are the team in this class with 3 persons, all right? So much better. So I will call your team team number 7. I will change the status to team number 7 immediately after my review for you. So here is what you need to do. Allow me to spend 5 more minutes to emphasize what you need to do. You now have a team which has 2 pairs, or with the exceptions of your team, which is 3 persons, and actually 2 pairs with 1 pair, only 1 person. All right? So the first thing you need to do, allow me to be a little bit non-white as a teacher, it's your journal. Okay? It's an individual journal. You need to work out, select 1 topic, that means 1 question, from all the questions distributed in the reading list, week number 5, week number 6, and week number 7. Okay? So there you will have a very interesting set of questions. Allow me to bring you to the set of questions you have, because I want to make sure everybody knows what you need to do. And I did explain it to you last week. And here we go. I do not mind to be long-winded. If you look at week number 5, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions. Week number 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions, but 3 of these questions are already included in week number 5. So you have 9 questions altogether with the 2 its. And if you look at week number 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions, and again, with how many questions? 2 questions already included with number 6. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 questions. Okay, in this 3 weeks, from week number 5 to week number 7. You need to choose 1 question out of these 7 questions and use that question as the basis to write your personal journal. Once you got your journal done according to the OIA format, you finish the first item. The second item, it's a peer discussion. Now, each team has 2 pairs, so for the 2 of you in your pair, you need to engage yourself in a discussion using the pair online discussion forum already given you in weeks number 5, 6, and 7, actually the same forum. Your job in the discussion forum between the 2 of you in your pair is to demonstrate your discussions through the details you have there to come to a paired topic that belongs to the 2 of you. Okay? You need to come up with a paired topic through discussions that belong to the 2 of you. How do you come up with a paired topic? I explained it last week, but let me briefly tell you this. Each one of you in your pair start with your journal topic. and then you have 2 topics to start with, and you harmonize the 2 topics between the 2 of you, and come up with a pair topic which has element in each one of the 2 topics. In the process of doing that, you have all the discussion details. And towards the end of your discussions, you should have to come up with the following. A pair discussion topic, 3 specific questions to investigate your pair topic, 3 to find relevant references to support your investigations of the topic, and the 2 of you in your pair need to write up a paragraph, not more than 200 words, to explain why this topic is important for the 2 of you. In other words, you are doing the proposal for your pair topic, and that is exactly the 3rd item you need to submit. Okay? So at the end of your pair-based discussions, with all the details indicated in your forum, you copy the forum detail and you submit it in the form of Microsoft Word, and you finish the 2nd item. So the 1st item is the journal, the 2nd item is the pair discussion forum details. The 3rd item is the proposal presented by your pair as a pair topic proposal, which include the following details: name of the topic, 3 specific questions to investigate with, 3 to 5 relevant references to support your investigations, 1 simple paragraph, not more than 200 words, jointly written by 2 of you in your pair. That is your proposal, that 3rd item. The 4th item is, once you got the proposal, the 2 of you in your pair need to come up with a PowerPoint of your pair proposal. Okay? The PowerPoint must not more than 10 pages. Okay? That means 10 slides. Within 10 slides, you're going to tell the story of your PowerPoint. Okay? Remember, in the first learning contract, your PowerPoint is not more than 5 slides. Now, in your pair PowerPoint, that means the topic that belongs to the 2 of you, I give you a maximum of 10 slides, okay? And then once you finish your PowerPoint, you have to move to what? Teamwork. Because in your team, which contains 2 pairs, you must have a time for your teamwork to do what? Pair-wise presentations. Each pair is going to present to your team pair in 20 minutes time of your pair topic, and allow another 10 minutes time for your team pair to ask you questions. And you must keep track of those questions. You do not need to answer all the questions during the question and answer period, because it's just a 10 minutes time. So each pair, when you do the teamwork, is going to spend a total of 30 minutes time sharing your pair topic to your team pair and listening to the question presented by your team pair. And because it has to be done both ways, it takes about 1 hour. At the end of that, you have to keep a voice record of your pair's presentation and of your pair's Q&A question sections. You're going to pick up questions from the team pair. And that is an important item you need to submit individually, all right? Of course, 2 pairs have to do something similar. Finally, you have to write a blog as an individual blog based on your pair topic. Okay? The pair topic that you work with, you must use it to write your personal blog. And in your personal blog, you must write it as a reflective essay. And also, each of you must try your very best to answer the questions posed by your team pair during your presentation section. Okay? And once you finish the blog, you finish all the objects or artifacts you need to submit. And so in the specific message that I sent you for week number 7, I told you all these artifacts you need to prepare. First is your individual online journal. Second is your pair discussion forum detail. Third is your pair PowerPoint. Okay? And then 4th is your proposal. Okay? 5th is the individual blog. And the 6th, it's actually 6, not 7. You count the number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I screw up the number. I'm going to update this. Only 6 items you need to submit. Now you must submit those items individually, even though some of these items are pairwise. Even though it's pairwise, you cannot assume your partner is going to submit this for you. You must submit it on your own. That is demonstrations of your individual responsibility. And the deadline is this Saturday and Sunday. Okay? It's already extended by 1 week. I hope that with this elaborations on the work you need to do, you have a good picture of what's involved behind this exercise. The idea behind this exercise is to drill you on the information literacy skill and to help you with the opportunity of collaborations with your peer partner and cooperations with your team peer. Okay? A large portions of this second learning contracts assignment is based on the idea of collaborations, the two of you in your peer, and then cooperations, the two pairs in your team. Okay, having said that, I need to pass the time to the students who want to share as of last week but who didn't have a chance to do it. I will give you the chance today. Okay? So, let's take a look at the students who would like to share from the specific forum on week number 6. May I ask you, are you ready for that? So the first student who would like to share, didn't have a chance, is Rina. Are you here, Rina? Are you ready? Thank you. I'll pass you the time, okay? So you can just use my computer, all right? Thank you, Rina. So please pay attention to your fellow students sharing today. Press the specific icon at the bottom, which looks very much like a screen. This one. Screen. Yes. Thank you. All right. Very good.
So today my topic is what is a blog? Blog meaning. A blog is a type of website or part of a website. Blogs are usually maintained by an individual with regular entries of commentary and the description of events or another material such as photo and video. So I think most blogs are interactive and allowing visitors to leave the comment there, and many blogs provide news on a particular subject and other functions as small personal online diaries. So a typical blog combines the text, image, and link to other blogs. So the ability to readers to leave the comments in an interactive format is an important part of many blogs.
Yes, thank you.
So there are some blog types here. So the first one is the personal blogs. The personal blogs and ongoing diary or commentary by an individual is the traditional most common blog. And the second one is the comparative and organization blog. And this one is a blog can be private and also it can be for the business purpose. And the second one is by genre, which means some blogs are focused on a particular subject, and such as political blogs and travel blogs and some fashion blogs. There are some advantages of blogs. The first one is blogs are easy to create and maintain. To set up a blog can take as little as 10 minutes. And after creating your blog, and you are required to do is to provide many fresh content as you can on a regular basis. And the second one is blog attract more for fresh content. So reader can attract to blog because of fresh regular content, and also blogger you are passionate about what you write about. And the last one is blog are search engine friendly. So when you post and page automatically, it can link by the blog, and also it's very easier to find what you are post on it. So I want to discuss the difference between the forums and the blogs. And the meaning of a forum is an internet forum or message board is an online discussion site where people hold a conversation in the form of post message. So forums have their own language which is convenient for user to chat, and also depending on the forum setup, user can be anonymous or have to register when the forum and then log in order to post the message. Blog vs blog. So blogs are like a keynote speech, and when the speaker and the broadcast is in control of the discussion, that allow the question and comments for their audience. So blogs are journal often authored by one individual and sometimes like a teams. So in the context of business communication, these are often used to talk with the marketplace and to join the conversation. And the forums are like a social listserv. When anyone is at an equal level, they all can discuss it with others, and it has many communication tools allow everyone to start a topic and anyone to respond to one. So forums are created by, for discussion between several people, while blogs are mainly designed for single user inputs. So conclusion, blogs are more like a simple homepage when other people may contribute with comments, and blog owner can delete any comments and when he or she doesn't like. While in forum there could be thousands of people posting the topic message and also adding the comments on it.
Thank you, Rina. I hope you appreciate the effort put into this particular piece by Rina. She compared the differences between a blog and a forum in the sense given us a very good picture of how to distinguish what to use for what purposes. Except for one point that today we do have group blog, a blog which is written by a group of people, something like this, like a small group discussion, something. But thank you very much, Rina. Make sure at the end of your sharing in class, go back to the sign up link here and type in here what you did share today. That's an important record of your work. Okay? This is an important record. So after that, let me see who's going to be the next speaker. Yongzi, are you here? Ruti, are you this? Okay. But I do not have your PowerPoint. Do you know how to extract it? Okay, you try. Yeah. Thank you. I give you the control of the computer and pass you the microphone. Do you know how to use it? Because I do not have the tool to open your file. So can you make it simple to add there a PowerPoint? Yes, you need to have some kind of software to open up your file. So my suggestion is you do it in a PowerPoint format. Okay, if you want to get well prepared for that, you might want to do it and upload it again so that I'll give you a chance to do it next time. Okay? Make sure you do it in a PowerPoint because sometimes you cannot decrypt your files, all right? So thank you anyway for your preparations. See you, are you here? Thank you. It's your turn now. So I see yours in column 1, right? So thank you very much. I'll pass you the time.
Today I'm going to talk about something about blog. And I divided into 2 questions. The first is, what is a blog? And the second is, why we need blog in our life. What is a blog? Blog is a kind of website that usually managed by individuals, not regularly post a new article. The blog articles are usually posted according to time to reverse. Many blogs focus on specific topic to provide commentary or news. Others are used as a comparison of personal diary. A typical blog conveys text, images, links to other blogs or websites, and other media related to the subject, which allows readers to leave comments in an interactive way, and is an important element of many blogs. Most of the blog content in the main text. There are still some blogs focused on art, photography, video, music, podcasts, and other topics. Blogs are part of the social media network, and the word blog is from wide and long.
Thank you.
And the next question, why we need blog in our life? We can share our thoughts, opinions, ideas, experience, news, or any other things you want to share with other people. We can create our own patterns and can choose any colors to make your blog. And you can also put some pictures, music, and anything you want to share. Everyone can share through blog. A businessman can share his product. A mother can share a photo of her family. A sports star can share his game with others, etc. We can also connect with others through blog. You can read others' blog and you can know more about him, and you can also comment in other people's blog. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, thank you very much. We'd love to hear the same theme, blog, by 2 students. They presented in a slightly different perspective, but it's still very stimulating, helping us to enhance our understanding of blog. And fortunately, in your second assignment that is due this particular weekend, you have a chance to write a blog. Okay, now whichever direction you want to go, you can reference the 2 presentations today and see if you can position your blog along any line of concern. Very good, and thank you. And again, remind you, you need to type up something about your sharing today as an important record that you did share in class. Each student is expected to do 5 times of such in-class sharing throughout the semester to claim your 20 semester point out of 100. So do not lose this 20 semester points. Okay? Here are the opportunity. And remember, this is already the middle of October. You have another 1.5 months to go until the end of November. So count the number of weeks left, 6 more weeks. And if you have not done this, you better catch the time to do it. Okay? The only way for you to earn this 20 semester point is for you to capture the chance to do the sharing in class. Okay? It's very important. Okay. So allow me to get back to the class today. We would like to make sure you have a good picture of what you have been learning in this course web technology and live. And so today, if you go to week number 6, we have to go back to week number 6 because we lost one day because of the holiday. We need to make sure that you understand the meanings behind this. Now remember, this is the pattern of thinking. We will give you some ideas about technology, and you must understand the idea behind a particular technology before you can interpret for yourself the impact of such technologies in our modern living. And so today, I want to bring you back to the very fundamental technology, which we have been talking about, but we never square in like this. What is a World Wide Web? What is a World Wide Web? Well, what exactly is meant by a web? And hopefully my computer works today. Oh, look at that. It means we need to make sure that it's something we do not want to miss. What exactly is the World Wide Web? When we talk about it in the context of the internet, okay? Okay, let me just make sure you got it here.
Have you ever wondered, when you visit a website, where those words and images come from? This is the World Wide Web in plain English. These days, as long as we have an internet connection, using the web is pretty easy. We can visit billions of pages on things from pet alligators to the weather in Holland. To help figure out how it works, let's pretend we can get really small, follow the wires, and explore what makes the web work. In order to get to the web, we need a connection from our home or business to the rest of the online world. This usually happens through the phone or cable lines, or even satellite. This connection means that information from around the world can reach our computers. If we could see the connection, the information coming through it would look like little packets of code. It doesn't make sense to most people. We need a translator, something that turns the packets of code into words and images we see on a website. For this, we use a web browser. It translates the information and makes it useful to us. But that code has to come from somewhere, right? If we could follow it to its home, we'd see that it's coming from another computer. Not a regular computer, but one that's built to make web pages available. It's called a server. The words and images that appear on our screen live here in the server. If there was only one server, this would be simple. But there are millions of servers and web pages. We need a way to find a specific page on a specific server.
Right?
We do this with web addresses. Each server and website has a unique one. As long as we have the right web address, we can visit a page on any server on the web. The reason we call it a web is that all the servers are connected. We can easily jump from one to the other using addresses via our web browser. And we don't have to remember all the addresses. Web pages use shortcuts or links, words and images we can click that direct us to page after page. These links create a web of connections that are easy to navigate. Together, this system makes up the World Wide Web. So, let's sum it up. To visit a website, we type in a web address or click a link. The information for the website lives on a server. It comes to us as little packets of code, and our web browser translates this code into words, photos, music, videos, and links that help us get things done. Yay! I'm Lee Lefevre, and this has been the World Wide Web in plain English.
Now, I would like you
For
to
more
put
detailed resources and videos,
I would like you to put into some thought about what you heard minutes ago by Little Fever. Okay? The World Wide Web. Okay? You see the ideas of the browser. What is the browser doing all the time? If the browser is not doing its job, what's going to happen to our information presented in the screen? And where does the information come from? From another computer, and we call this computer a server. All right? So that's the idea. What exactly is the technology behind the browser? What is the browser doing? Okay, if we have the answers about the technology behind the browser, we'll be too technical. But what exactly is a browser doing? If the browser is not doing what it's supposed to do, what's going to happen to us? Minutes ago, I experienced some kind of technical glitches. I stopped. All right. I thought I'd get to this specific address where I could show you this video, but indirectly, I didn't get there. Instead, you see some kind of ads over there. The ads give you some kind of idea which can hardly be connected together to our purpose. Okay. So let's try to see this.
So, how does the internet work? Most of us know how to use the internet without actually understanding how it works. Sort of like electricity in your home. You use it every day, but may not understand the mechanics behind it. And if the electric grid is difficult to understand, then the internet must be impossible, right? Wrong. In the next few minutes, I'll put you in the top 10% of people who understand how the internet actually works. For SecurityCatalyst.com, I'm Aaron Titus. Whenever most people think of the internet, this is what comes to mind. The internet is not a bubble cloud, even in the new age of cloud computing. The whole fuzzy cloud picture was created by people more concerned about job security than education. This is the internet. The internet is a wire, actually buried in the ground. It might be fiber optics, copper, or occasionally beamed to satellites or through cell phone networks. But the internet is simply a wire. The internet is useful because two computers connected directly to this wire can communicate. A server is a special computer connected directly to the internet, and web pages are files on that server's hard drive. Every server has a unique Internet Protocol address, or IP address. Just like a postal address, IP addresses help computers find each other. But since 72.14.205.100 it doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, we also give them names like Google.com, Facebook.com, or SecurityCatalyst.com. So this is how it works. Your computer at home is not a server, because it's not connected directly to the internet. Computers you and I use every day are called clients, because they're connected indirectly to the internet through an internet service provider. Here, we'll pretend that this is my home laptop, and I'm using DSL. Now let's pretend that I want to visit AOL.com, which is coincidentally both a server and an ISP. I hop onto my laptop with DSL, go through my ISP onto the internet, and look at AOL.com. My computer connects with AOL.com, and I can look at its web pages. Now, let's say that I want to send an email to Aunt Ruth. Aunt Ruth has AOL dial-up from home, and I've got a Gmail account. I log on to gmail.com and compose a message to Aunt Ruth's email address, auntruth@aol.com. Once I click send, gmail.com sends the email to AOL.com. The next day, Aunt Ruth dials into AOL servers and retrieves the email. Whenever an email, picture, or web page travels across the internet, computers break the information into smaller pieces called packets. When information reaches its destination, the packets are reassembled in their original order to make a picture, email, web page, or tweet. Okay, so imagine you're at work sitting next to your boss, and you're both surfing online. Your boss is doing market research, and you're updating your Facebook profile. You're both sending packets back and forth over the internet. But what's to keep your packets from accidentally ending up on your boss's screen? That could be embarrassing. The solution to that problem is IP addresses and routers. Everything connected directly or indirectly to the internet has an IP address. Everything. That includes your computer, servers, cell phones, and all of the equipment in between. Anywhere two or more parts of the internet intersect, there's a piece of equipment called a router. Routers direct your packets around the internet, helping each packet get one step closer to its destination. Every time you visit a website, upwards of 10 to 15 routers may help your packets find their way to and from your computer. Imagine each packet as a piece of candy wrapped in several layers. The first layer is your computer's IP address. Your computer sends the packet to the first router, which adds its own IP address. Each time the packet reaches a new router, another layer is added until it reaches the server. Then, when the server sends back information, it creates packets with an identical wrapping. As the packet makes its way over the internet back to your computer, each router unwraps a layer to discover where to send the packet next until it reaches your computer and not your boss's. And that's how the internet works, in 5 minutes or less. And you're now easily in the top 10% of people who understand the basics of the internet. If you found this video helpful, check out securitycatalyst.com for all kinds of ideas on how to protect your information.
In the context of your home connector, you know that you subscribe to CDM, or excellent fiber optic link to the internet. What do they give you? They give you a modem, okay, a broadband modem, which is capable of connecting with the fiber optics. And then they will offer you what? If you subscribe to a certain package, they will offer you free a router. Okay, the latest router costs you about $1,600. But if you subscribe to a package with between 250 megabytes per second or 300 megabytes per second, they will give this router to you free. Okay, now I hope that this video will give you a little bit closer step to what's happening behind the technology. And the question is, with this basic understanding of the idea behind the technologies of World Wide Web, and also a little bit about the infrastructural details of the internet, explained here as a wire, okay? Can you imagine the kind of impact that has been put to all of us because of these kind of technologies over the past 20 years? Okay, isn't it appropriate to say over the past 20 years, actually 22 years? Well, the first browser that took place in the internet development gave us the convenience of visiting the web in 1994. 1994. Have you been born then? Born in 1994? And 10 years later, in 2004, we consider that the second generations of the web happened because from 1994 to 2000, the web was mainly one-way information. Okay, the technologies of one-way information give us a lot of fascination at that time because we can actually visit many places in the world if they would like to put up information on that specific area. Look about the tourist industry. Okay. And then from 2004, we have this enhanced ability of, remember, interpersonal computing. You understand that because we introduced it to you. And then, based on that, we have more and more expectations today. So having said that, what about this? Web 3.0.
Being aware of the numerous advances in technology is not an easy task, but fortunately, during the next few minutes you will obtain crucial information on one of the biggest upcoming revolutions, the Web 3.0, as well as good tips on how to be aware of the newest upcoming technology. But what does all this web nonsense have to do with me, you might ask yourself? Well, you would actually be surprised. Just take a look around. You'll be able to find a computer, a tablet, or a smartphone beside you, or even all of them. Just tell me, what will you do if all your Facebook information gets lost? Or if somebody steals your email password? I would go crazy! Currently, information is not just a bunch of bits in it. It's actually becoming an extension of ourselves. So, what is the Web 3.0? The Web 3.0 is the upcoming web revolution, the semantic web, a personalizable place with intelligent search and behavioral advertisements, where content is generated by machines rather than by humans, where virtual items or information become more valuable than physical items, where we'll get a tweet telling us if our bus is on time, or even if our food is going out of date in the fridge. Ew. Oh, does that mean that the web has been evolving? Exactly. Remember many years ago when Google just launched, YouTube was just coming out, and MSN Messenger used to be the thing? Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. Well, those were part of the first web generation, or Web 1.0. The web then began to evolve into a much more dynamic web. Technologies like RSS, Ajax, and XML started coming up. Content management systems were replaced by wikis. Blogs became more common than diaries, and social media became an essential tool for every single individual, creating what we now know as the Web 2.0. Currently, innovative technologies like the Google Glass project, augmented reality, and advanced mobile technologies are what makes this third generation of web possible. Wow, where can I get this Web 3.0? You actually interact with several Web 3.0 technologies every day. Smartphones, for example, are one of the biggest factors in this revolution. Incredible 4G speeds, retina displays, and technologies like cloud computing improve the web experience massively. Studies have even shown that people are tending towards using their smartphone or tablet more than their actual computers. We can even see this revolution in computers. Take Windows 8, for example, which is trying very hard to adapt to the tablet market. Web 3.0 also allows a thing we call hyperconnectivity. What this really means is that everything is starting to be interconnected through the internet. There are already twice as many devices connected to the internet than people in the world, and it is set to increase to 6.5 per person by 2020. That sounds amazing. Hey, and can my business benefit from all this? Definitely. Businesses benefit from the Web 3.0 in numerous ways. They're not only discovering new novel ways of using social media for marketing, but they're making use of technologies such as Ruby on Rails, Python's Django, and Hadoop to scale their businesses massively through the internet by selling software as services instead of as products. So what you're saying is that the Web 3.0 is perfect? As you might know, nothing can be perfect. With many new technologies coming out, powerful malware and harmful software comes along. The web is advancing so fast that some security protocols are not catching up, leaving loopholes which hackers can then exploit. Also, with the massive increase in value in virtual information, there is also an increasing concern as its protection becomes much more crucial for everyone. All this is great, but how can I keep myself aware of the latest upcoming technology once this video is over? Don't worry, there are numerous ways to achieve this. Feel free to visit our site at web3.hackathon.com, where you will find more information on the Web 3.0, as well as its technologies, its influence in mobile systems, business, and security, as well as very useful links to tech news, blogs, and videos. Thank you very much for your time and wish you an amazing day.
Just before we end this video, I want to put your attention to this Internet of Things stuff, IoT. Well, if you forget everything about Web 3.0, you still can remember it's about the intellect of things. In the first generations, it's the intellect of computers talking together. In the second generation, it's not just the intellect of computer talking together, it's people talking together with the help of the machines. Now, it's more than that, it's anything that can be put together in the internet, including a piezo device at home, the refrigerator, your air conditioner, or your mobile phones. Where you are, it will be a wonderful new era in terms of technology when intellect of things becomes popular, becomes generates. Now, question is, what is going to be the impact in our daily life? Okay? Will my whereabouts be tracked by the device all the time so that I do not have any sense of privacy anymore? It's going to be very interesting, particularly when you have a smartphone where you have videos around. The video here introduced one threat, risk, hacking. What if my system is being hacked? And all of my private informations, including my whereabouts at home, we closely monitor by people without my understanding. And that is a threat, okay? So security is very important. So today I basically give you the message that I left out in week number 6. Extracted in week number 6, we also want you to understand something called the virtual office. The virtual office is a very interesting concept. What is meant by virtual office? Does it mean I do not need to physically go to work in my office? I can stay where I am and operate my work based on a remote computer system, so that virtually I'm always here to help you to do my job, but physically I'm not in my office. And then here's a very interesting concept called virtual assistant. So instead of hiring someone who could help me as a secretary, I could install a virtual person who will be there to handle question and answer for me. And that is a very interesting thing. But today when you look at the latest development of technologies, and actually I would like to show you a video next week, it's about robots created by big companies like Honda, a Japanese company. They build robot in such a way that the robot with an appearance of a human, okay? And so everything will be very much like a robot servant, something like this. It's very important that we got some ideas about this. So in day number 12, actually based on the schedule, we would like you to study the meaning of a virtual assistant. And here definitely there is something you can watch and see the meanings of that. I will not show you all the 9 minutes, but I'll give you a little bit of that.
Hello.
Hello. My systems and functions are fully operational. Face and voice recognition are activated. Waiting for facial recognition identification. Recognizing face.
It's not a real person.
Face recognized. Access granted. Good evening, dial. My systems and functions are fully operational. Face and voice recognition are...
May I bring your memory back to a movie called Iron Man? Have you seen the Iron Man movie? Okay. The protagonist, the person who create Iron Man, has a very sophisticated helper, and that is his computer. He can always talk to his computer, ask for anything, and the computer will retrieve things for him, not only virtually, but also transform the information into physical actions. That is a robot. That's what we call scientific visions, like imaginations of the steps here. All right? So I wish that you will go home and study a little bit about this. This is one of the very interesting development today, besides the humanoid robots, okay, what we call the humanoids or something like this. And then in week number 7, we also have the ideas of how the company called Google helped us to do our business much better along the way of creating somewhat like a virtual office for us. But that is a little bit different from the virtual assistant you see over there. And actually you can see that Google now has YouTube, and you can actually create your virtual office by putting together a set of Google tools, okay? And with the Google phone, I can actually redirect my phone call to my Google phone assistant, and then I will have an answering machine to record the message, okay? And how the Google Analytics helped you to detect, to analyze the visits to your web page about the Googles, okay? That's also very interesting. Let me try to see, I give you a Google Voice for your business piece. Okay, that is very interesting. Just bring it
Hello, my name is Michael Bolomino. I'm the product marketing manager for Google Voice. What is Google Voice? So Google Voice is essentially a way to get a phone number It's all about connectivity. It's about helping people stay in touch with each other, getting more out of your existing services, and providing this free product and free experience to people in a way that will benefit them.
You have a number with Google,
Yes.
and people can call that phone number.
Yes.
And you have to get a Google phone. What is it worth?
Oh no, you don't need to get a Google phone. You keep your same exact phone. You don't have to switch numbers or get rid of numbers. You don't have to worry about changing service plan. Your phone plan, your phone number will stay the same. Think of Google Voice as a layer on top of your number, as a layer that comes with a lot of features that make your number more powerful. For example, this phone number can then ring all of the other phones that you may have. So say, assuming you have a mobile phone, a home line, and an office phone, your Google number, when it's called by anybody, will ring all of those phones, or just two of them. It's really up to you to decide what you want to happen.
So now looking at small and medium.
Sure.
How would a business use this maybe in comparison to a 1-800 number? Why wouldn't they just use the regular landline?
Google Voice is free.
It's
And
free.
on top of being free, you can make free calls to the United States and to Canada. On top of that, you can send free text messages. And if you're calling internationally, if you're doing business internationally, we have some of the lowest rates around. And you can make those calls when you're logged into Google Voice from our mobile app or from Gmail. Another really interesting way that you could use it would be having custom voicemail greetings based on who's calling you. So I know this company in upstate New York and Plattsburgh, and a lot of their customers speak French because they're from Montreal. And so they've set up 2 different voicemail greetings, one for people that are calling them, their clients in Montreal, that has a French message, and then a second voicemail greeting in English for people who are calling them for us. On top of that, some of the really cool things are voicemail transcriptions. So with voicemail transcriptions, my voicemails get transferred into text, and then they get sent to me via text message. I also know this real estate agent from New York, and she's always on the go in her car. She's my mother. And so say she's in the car with a client, and she has another client that's a closing that day, and she gets a voicemail from that client. She doesn't have to pick up her phone and listen to the voicemail. She can actually just read a transcription of it as a text message when she has time with that client and get back to her other client if it's very urgent.
What else? Is there more?
Yeah, of course, there are lots more.
Okay, keep going.
All right, when you're logged into Google Voice, it looks just like Gmail, right? So you have an inbox, and from this inbox, you can make phone calls right there. You can send free text messages, also right there. It stores all of your text messages so that you can read them like email threads and respond to them in line.
Where does that click into in Google Talk of being able to call people and Gmail and stuff?
You can make phone calls from Gmail from your Google Voice number. And you can also receive calls in Gmail. And so the way that works, if you get a call to your Gmail account, is you'll hear a ring just like the phone was ringing. And a little menu will pop up. You click the accept button, and then as long as you've got your microphone hooked up, you can start having a conversation right away. You can also bring up a dial pad and make calls locally, internationally, wherever you want.
So one phone number for the rest of your life?
Yeah, it's a phone number that you won't ever have to change, really.
I didn't know you could do that.
You can.
That is very cool.
Do you got some idea? Have you ever tried that? Well, you can actually log in and try this feature. It's free. Okay? It's basically fully integrated with your Gmail, and you can send text messages. But precautions, because it's going to be free when you do it in the United States. When you do it here in Macau, with international or something like this, they might charge you a little bit. It's not that expensive, but it's fun. You can make the best use of those tools. A lot of the tools provided by Google are excellent. And today when we talk about web technologies, in the area of business, in the web area of education, we use a lot of Google tools. And this is a fact of life. Because they're full of genius people coming up with ideas and giving you the opportunity to use the service free of charge. Okay, so wonderful. So I hope that with that you understand a little bit about the day 13. I've given you a lot of the ideas of how YouTube can work for your business, how the internet can work for your business, and using Google Analytics to improve the website. Okay? There's a lot of wonderful things. Now let's go to a concept which we need to introduce to you last week, but we haven't. That is called tagging. Okay, tag is not a difficult concept. We learned it from kindergarten students. In a minute I'm going to show you how. Okay, let's try to see a picture first. know what is meant by tagging? They're tagging a lot of things, okay? They're tagging a lot of things. Green. Where do you take green? White. We're gonna find something with white. Okay, that's good. Blue. You got it. Bricks. Red. You got some ideas. Now, in the intellect, we're doing tagging just as what we are doing here. Good. Well, at least you got some ideas of how the two little sisters here, giving you the ideas of putting the paper tag with different objects, which is very consistent with the nature of that object. Now, allow me to give you a little bit more on the meanings behind this.
What is tagging? Tagging is simply one way of categorizing content that you want to find again in the future. A lot of people are already familiar with using folders and subfolders to organize their files. Well, tagging is just a different way of accomplishing the same sort of thing. Folders and subfolders tend to work well if you have a well-structured way of organizing your files, whereas tags tend to work well when you don't. Let's look at an example using both folders and tags. Let's say I'm shopping for a new car, and I've narrowed down my choices to 3 new cars and 3 used cars. First, let's see how I might use folders to organize my work. For each of the new cars I'm looking at, I want to see the information on the company website, I want to check out the reviews on Edmunds.com, and I want to read the online forums. And for the used cars, I want to do pretty much the same thing, but I also want to organize the listings I find for cars that are for sale online. So I first create a directory structure to store the web pages, and then I can file away each page into the appropriate place. Here's the web page for the Edmunds review of the Ford Mustang. So I'll drag the web page into the subfolder for Ford Mustang under the folder for new cars. Now, let's look at how we might organize this information using tags instead of by folders. Let's take this Edmunds page for the Ford Mustang and assign some tags to it. I'll assign the tags Ford Mustang and Edmunds by clicking on those tag names. And you can see now that those tags have been assigned to this page. This is the same thing as physically putting a set of labels or sticky notes on the Edmunds review for the Ford Mustang. One of the benefits of organizing by tags instead of by folders is that you can assign multiple tags to an object, and you don't have to think about creating an organizational structure beforehand or having to remember where you put something when you want to retrieve it. By using tags, the objects can be found by searching on any of the tags. So if I look under the tags for Ford Mustang, my Edmunds review is there. Or I can drill into the Edmunds tag under Ford Mustang. Or if I look just in the tag for Edmunds, I'll see all the Edmunds reviews. So here I get to see the Edmunds reviews for all of the cars, even though I didn't think to set it up this way. Let's say now I want to see the Infinity listings. I can drill into the Infinity tag. Or if I want to see only the Infinity listings, I'll drill into the For Sale tab under Infinity. But let's say I want to see all the listings for all of the cars. You guessed it, I can drill into the for sale tag and I see all of the cars. Since I didn't organize my folder structure that way, I can't easily do that with my folders. So sometimes folders provide a better approach to organizing than tags, and sometimes tags work better. If you have a rigid organizational structure, you might want to use folders. If you're saving and organizing things in sort of an ad hoc manner, then tags might work best. And sometimes you might want to organize your files using both tags and folders. Some systems now support both methods of organizing your data. So thank you very much for watching our video on tagging. We hope it was helpful.
Do you see the meaning of this video? First of all, tagging is a very simple concept. It's the concept of categorizing things. But just categorize things does not help enough when we need to retrieve the information we have. And so the traditional method we have is with different folders, storing different informations. Because with that folder name, I know that from that specific folder, I'm going to put something in. And when I need it again, I go to that specific folder and get something out. But here it tells you a little bit interesting things about tagging in the intellect. Normally, if we do not use folder, how can we tag things that is already in the intellect to retrieve the similar pages just with the help of a tag? Well, that is a very interesting story, and it's also connected with the technology behind this. But the question we need to ask is, now we do not need to know all about this technology. We just need to know how these technologies have been put into our daily use. What is the impact of that technologies in us? Okay, so think a little bit more about this, and actually you know it. You have experience about this. Okay, I need to stop here today and remind you that you have the set of artifacts due for the second learning contract by this weekend. Allow me to take attendance, and then I'll let you have lunch, okay? There's 1 minute left for me to take attendance today. So, let's go for it. Here we are. Rex, are you here today? Thank you. Make sure you connect. Fiora is excused today. Hers, Sequin is here. Terry, are you here? Thank you. Neil, you're here today. Make sure you're connected as a team. Coco, K-O-K-O, thank you. And C-O-C-O, thank you. And then Adrian, thank you. And then Vicky, thank you. And then Aris, thank you. Lahori, thank you. And then Rajan, thank you. Pai Day, thank you. Hongben, thank you. And then Schofield, thank you. Rena, thank you. And then Selena, thank you. Addison, are you here? Thank you. Rita, thank you. And then Karen, thank you. Very good. Boss is not here. Andra, he's not here today. Okay. Tiffany, thank you for coming back. And then we save for the first page. Now remember, you need to work together to produce the artifacts as a team. Teresa, thank you. And then Ziyu, thank you. Richie, thank you. And then Alice, thank you. So, Will, again, thank you very much for coming back. Work hard to present your second set of homework. As I promised, before this Saturday, you will receive the feedback and score for the first set of homework. Okay, see you. Bye-bye. That's it for today's CISG114, Section 1 on week number 8, day number 16.